Hi and welcome to Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. It's been a while since we last spoke to you, and when we last spoke to you, it was on a happier note. But today, it's completely different. My mood is different because Sri Lanka has lost the one-day series and there are 2 games to be played and it's not looking too good. It looks a very unsettled Sri Lankan lineup, quite different, quite in contrast to what we saw in the Test series where everything seemed to be going well, the enthusiasm, the winning mood was rubbing off on players. But here it's very different. I'm just wondering whether how much of pride players actually have playing for their country, or is it a case of wanting to finish the tour and have it done and dusted? Well, this is my thought. I'm going to ask Farveez Maharoof to comment on that as I get into more details. Morning to you, Maha. Lovely to have you with us. But first and foremost, now 3 matches have been lost. Now I think the last game unfortunate because the rain came in, but the first 2 games I thought, not that the last game was any different, but the second game Sri Lanka had a good chance. Yes. First game I thought Sri Lanka folded rather meekly, 190 for 4 to be all out for 231. But tell me, is it about the lack of pride in these players? Is it that they don't value this cap that they have, or what is actually wrong? You can't win a Test series against one of the best sides in the world. So I'm still asking the question. You've got to excuse me, it's so long because I have so much to ask. And then you can't come into a one-day series when you know that the South African mentality is down. Sri Lankans, obviously the momentum high. How do they manage to do what they have done?
Long question, Roshan.
Very long one.
I think having the pride to play, I think everyone should have. I mean, you can't teach someone to have the pride. You should come within yourself. But lack of pride, I may question few of the players as well. But overall, I think the white ball cricket, I mean, we've been speaking for so long. When did we have a positive feedback? I don't think for the last 2 years it's been very minimal. So I think when it comes to red ball cricket and white ball, there's a huge difference when it comes to confidence. There are loads of factors for that. So I believe, first 2 games, again, same mistake, which is batting. We bowled decently, especially in the second game. We could have easily won that game, just chasing 230. The collapse what we had was very disappointing to see. And some way how the things have been run now, let's say for example like Upul Taranga. I mean, I won't like to take this up. This is the confidence that players need to have. I mean, playing in his caliber, giving one chance and dropping him, it's very unfair in my own eyes.
Or he should have never played.
He should have never played. I mean, they could have easily played Avishka Fernandes, thinking that he had a brilliant A-team series against England, man in form, and you could have played him. But where else, you play Upul Taranga, fail one game, and you drop him straight away, which is not good. So we're thinking of him having experience for the World Cup. Imagine the dent he had in his confidence. So those are little things which will, affect in the long run. But overall, some of the feeling efforts were a bit disappointing to see. And the batting wise, I think some of the players still don't know what the role is. I mean, if you take our top 6 batters.
Tell me, name a player who doesn't know his role, because these guys have played enough cricket. They would have been spoken to enough in the dressing room, and if they still appear or don't seem to know their role, they shouldn't be playing.
I think if you look, watching on TV, Roshan, I mean, being there, done it, I feel the batsman, apart from Angelo Matthews, for me, no one wants to build that longer innings. Absolutely. That's the question I have. Now you take South Africa, you get Faf du Plessis, Quinton de Kock. They like to do it. I mean, they take that responsibility. Once they get a start, they kick on and get a big one. Whereas our batsmen, I don't know whether it's lack of ability or lack of concentration. For some reason, watching on television, I don't see it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me as well. Top 6, one of them. I mean, every game, all the top 6 won't score runs. Maximum will 2 score and 1 will chip in. Yep. So whoever takes that start, gets that start, concentrate, player made no or 2, doesn't matter, you can always catch up. And you know that they have some wicket-taking bowlers. Respect them, don't give wickets. In those days we used to plan, wicket-taking bowler Imran Tahir. We'll play him 10 overs or 40 runs, we don't give him wicket. right? And over Rabada, we'll say the same thing because those are the strike bowlers, and we'll attack the others. So do we have those little plans which you're watching on TV? I have my doubts again.
I'm sure we do have plans, but it's a case of execution. But in terms of that 6, now that you brought up the point, I feel that they're very similar players, the 6 players that Sri Lanka have used in the batting lineup. As you said, which one is going to bat the 50 overs? That's my question. Dimuth Karunaratne could be an option. Chandimal, Matthews. These are the 3 names that comes to me instantly who can bat the 50 overs with the others batting around them. And the other thing that surprised me is the opening combination. Now, Avishka Fernando and Dick Weller, they look contrasting in their styles, meaning their technique, but their approach is almost the same. I mean, I don't know whether it's a recipe for disaster at the top of the order. You know why I say this? Because if you look at the Sri Lankan first 2 wickets, in the first game 23 for 2, second game 29 for 2, third game 35 for 2. So where is this solid base that a team needs to build on? Now, South Africa lost wickets early, but the second wicket was very good.
The thing is, I mean, everyone has their own game. How you score runs doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but my question is, do you throw 2 of the same type?
Personally, no. I would like more of one seeded batsman, one attacker.
A Dimuth Karunaratne type of
Probably
batsman.
yes. I mean, that's an option to look into. I mean, we know that he haven't played any one day for a long time. But if the time rises for him to be considered, I think we should do it. I mean, I'm speaking so much about these players, but still no one has put his hands. I mean, even Lasith Malinga was like an ODI. He showed his displeasure by saying no one values the wicket and there should be pride, and I should value the opportunities what you get. So those are little things I wouldn't say little things. Those are big things, which comes from the captain himself. Shows that even he is frustrated the way some of the things has been going. So need of the hour, some changes has to be done in my own eyes, thinking of the longer game, because we are going in for World Cup. If not, we'll be a team just participating in the way we are playing. I mean, I don't see us watching on television. I'm sure you'll agree with me as well. We don't look like winning a game because we don't win those percentages which needed to win in a one-day game.
Well, I've got some stats, interesting stats here. I hope I can bring it to you. We're talking about the one-dayers that Sri Lanka have played, and I had it somewhere, where the number of games where Sri Lanka have played. I have the South African games, but let me try and see. Now, I can't find it somewhere, where Sri Lanka's performance against major teams, and I know that I had it somewhere where it said that Sri Lanka haven't won anything. I think they've just beaten the West Indies in the top 10 that we're talking about. There you are. I have it here. Sri Lanka's last bilateral ODI series win against one of the top-ranked teams was in 2015 against the West Indies. Sri Lanka hasn't won anything, and the only time Sri Lanka's last 200-plus chase in ODIs against again a top-ranked team, that is the top 10, was in 2017 in the Champions Trophy against India. Now we are talking about the last 2 or 3 years, which is not good news at all, and also the ugly head of an area that Sri Lanka had to avoid once again rose in that last ODI game. I've been given the stats that in Sri Lanka's death bowling, 53 runs in the last 4 overs. Actually, I'm sure you know, in case you don't know, Sri Lanka has one of the worst records, bowling records in the last 10, and they conceded 99 runs in that last 10 overs in the last or the third ODI. So where are the death bowlers? We don't have batsmen, we don't have death bowlers. Whom do we have?
When things goes wrong, I mean, this is a sign. This is cricket. I mean, cricket is a momentum game that we all know. And when things goes wrong, and when you're not in rhythm, and when team is bossing, the other home team is bossing, that's when we are lacking. I mean, we know that Lasith Malinga, one of the best, probably the best death bowler in the world. Exactly. Still is, good enough to come in the middle and pick up those wickets. But finishing innings, I mean, if you look at Durban, Roshan, all fairness to Lasith, 5 overs on the trot in death is hard work. I mean, that's the responsibility. He's putting too much pressure on himself, just I feel. But in the previous game, he bowled about 3 overs. So I think even the other fast bowlers should take responsibility. Like people like ThePapare have been so long.
What's wrong with him? What's ailing ThePapare? I can't believe it. In New Zealand, at least he turned up with the bat in hand. But here, he seemed to be completely out of sorts. Not bowling well, not batting well.
Yeah, he came back well in the second one day with picking up 3 wickets.
3 wickets, yes. I take it back. Those 3 wickets.
Did that,
but it's not been
not the normal ThePapare what we saw him in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Maybe lack of confidence, just when the team is not going well.
Confidence in one of the star all-rounders who could be one of the few certainties going into a World Cup. How can he lack confidence?
I mean, that shows how inconsistent we are. You said 2015 we won a last bilateral series, so that's a long time, very long time. So I reckon little things, as I said, the drop catches, the run out chance. Imagine Osanda Fernando running out, Kamidhu running out Oshanda. So those are like comedy errors. I mean, this is no run out in a team is a killer.
Yeah.
So this has been happening consistently, and to add salt into the wound, Kusal Janithpera is injured. So I feel like he's one of the batsmen in the team who can win us a game single-handedly, as we saw in the Test match. So he's injured now. So when things go wrong to you, I mean, to always go wrong to you, especially abroad, places like South Africa and Australia. Can tell you with experience, Roshan, it's very hard to come back to win at least a match after being steamrolled in the first 3 games.
So you think 5-0?
I hope not. I don't like to say it, but the way we are playing, it's high chance. Unless we do something dramatically different and start from all over and have a chat to clear the air, whatever you have to say. Sometimes it works. It has happened before for us. Even we have gone through that. Sometimes when we lose, we just put a meeting up, clear the air, everything has to be put out, and you come out with a solution and go with that. So now something has to come.
Yeah, well, we're talking about all gloom here in the one-day series, nothing exciting at all. But is it fair to say that Oshanda Fernando's played in the 3 games, and Kamidhu Mendis, the ambidextrous whom we saw in the last game with the ball in hand, are the kind of silver linings in those dark clouds?
Oshanda Fernando definitely looked a very promising player for me. I mean, the technique what he showed, some of the strokes he scored was really impressive. But looking at his scores, 49, 31, 25,
I think it will
that's
improve.
where I'm
but
saying
it will improve.
Exactly. I mean, you need to give some time to a youngster. That's where your experience and your hunger to score big runs when you can get a start. So I'm hope that Oshanda Fernando will learn from this going forward, that he will build up a new innings. And Kamidhu Mendis, yes, definitely bowled really well. Something mystery. South Africans generally don't play spin that well. So he was up to the mark, and he had a strong claim for that World Cup spot, I should say that. And even Surudana with the new ball bowled pretty well. He came back and in the latter overs went for some runs. So there have been some positives, but overall, as a group, there's a lot to improve.
Right. Now we're having the 4th ODI on the 13th of March at Port Elizabeth, then the 5th ODI on the 16th of March at Cape Town, and with that the 5-match series ends. Now, as an ex-player, I want to ask you a question that may be asked by lots of people. Now, Kusal Perera injured during a game. Now, most sports allow a substitute. Soccer allows, rugby allows, team sports allow. Do you think it's time now for cricket to consider that? Consider a like-for-like replacement, say batsman to batsman, bowler to bowler, if you are injured during a particular time of play where you can kind of regulate it. Do you think it's the way to go?
In the long run, something to think about, but to be honest, I mean, as soon as possible. Now, look, you take an example, Roshan. If a fielding side, if a bowler gets injured towards knee damage or a groin,
someone can bowl for him.
Someone can bowl, and plus he can be replaced in the field. So why not? A batsman gets injured or cramped up while playing. Why can't he get a substitute runner?
Substitute runner?
He can't get a run. We can't get a run now. So we can't. You have to allow that to the batsman as well.
I'm talking about an outright replacement.
Outright, to do that, Roshan, I think first of all we should bring this first. I mean, this was there, but suddenly it's not there.
I think the runner's case was to a certain extent exploited.
It's exploited everything. I mean, thing is, if a bowler gets injured while bowling and he can be replaced by a fielder, why not give a runner to the batsman? I mean, I'm with you. I mean, if someone gets badly injured.
But runner, I think should be given if there is an external genuine injury.
But since the new rule came up, I've never seen.
No, you don't allow runners anymore.
Exactly, so I'm saying.
Yeah.
To start with,
Yeah.
you should start with that. I mean, if everything goes well, what you said, if injury comes up, bad injury comes up, you should, as other sports should replace. That's something to think about after the World Cup.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, Kusal's not having a replacement being sent for the one-day series, but South Africa, they are matching and mixing. They bring in Dumini, Aiden Markham, and Vian Mulder goes out. And does this mean that the South Africans are having just few places to fill because they're just playing with 2 or 3 names? So the rest of the lineup, say 10 to 12 players, seem to be settled.
Yeah. I definitely think so. I mean, they have a very strong squad. You have Dale Steyn, one of the best bowlers in the world, didn't steal a game and he's in the bench. Rabada played all 3, and Dale Steyn haven't got a game.
Leg spinner Tahir.
And in Giddy. So bowling attack wise, I think they are right on top. And also, looking at the 2 places the next one day is going to happen, Port Elizabeth and Cape Town, generally slow surfaces.
Yes.
So Dumini's off spin will come in pace, and he'll probably bat at number 6 and finish off the innings, which he used to do.
Right, interesting. Well, as far as South Africa are concerned, there have been a few players who have shown very good form. Quinton de Kock, Faf du Plessis, and Imran Tahir, who's announced his retirement from ODI cricket. He'll be playing the World Cup as the last 50-over format or the last series of 50-over format games. And what a player he turned out to be, Imran Tahir, leg spinner. He was kind of nothing with the red ball, but give him the coloured clothing. He's a sensation.
The best thing about him, Roshan, he can bowl at any time. Even the death overs, he can bowl the Yorkers, he can bowl the flipper, the googly, the turning leg spinner. I mean, he's been a revelation. He'll be missed for sure. I mean, Shamsi is there and thereabout, but Imran Tahir's consistency will be missed.
All right, we're going to move away from men's cricket and look at the ladies' cricket angle. England women, they're here. The third ODI, in fact, they're playing 3 ODIs. It's part of the ODI championship. That all teams are involved. Then there are also 3 T20 games. It will happen from the 16th of March to the 28th. The Sri Lankan squad is captained by Chamari Athapattu, Tharika Sewandi, Umesh Timashini, and Imalka Mendis comes into the side. Hansi Makarunaratne, Sugandhika Kumari, and Inoshi Fernando, they are the ones who have been left out. Incidentally, Sri Lanka's record in the ladies format 2 is not encouraging at all. Now, as I said, there is a championship played over a period of 3 years, 2017 to 2020, and so far Sri Lanka have played 12 games and they have just won 1 match in the ladies format. So a lot of work to be done for the ladies too. And close to home, or in fact at home, but the major one-day tournament 2018-19, it comprised of 24 teams, 4 groups, and the quarterfinalists have been found. It will happen on the 15th. The quarterfinalists are SSC, Moors, NCC. Well done. Congratulations. NCC is there, Maha. You were crying about they not being there the last time.
I have to tell you one thing. Panadura Sports Club,
a
Division 2 team, came on top. They are beating a Division 1 team. So that's a big news coming up.
No, I think I was about to touch on that. 50 over and T20 is a different kettle of fish altogether. It's the longer format that sometimes these teams get found out. But most of these teams have combinations that can win you the shorter format. Yes, you're right. Panadura is there. Saracens, CCC, Army, and of course, Ragama Cricket Club. Right, we are almost at the end of our program, and we got a question to ask you, as we always do. What is the highest ODI partnership for any wicket by a Sri Lankan pair in South Africa? That's the question. Last week, we asked you, what was Sri Lanka's last test victory outside Asia? And we specifically said before South Africa 2019. Now, the answer was 2-0 in 2016 when they beat Zimbabwe. Isuru Dhananjaya, congratulations, you are the winner. Let me remind you again, the question of the week, what is the highest ODI partnership for any wicket by a Sri Lankan pair in South Africa? Well, that's the story on Around the Wickets this time. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope we can come back the next time with happier news, with 2 more one-day games to be played. Until we see you again, it's goodbye from me and Farveez Maharoof.